Just 4 to 8 words determine your YouTube video's success. So for an example, let's say this was my next YouTube video's title, and I changed just one of those words. Spoiler alert, my video could perform completely different. I'm not talking about thumbnails here, I am talking about just the title. So it is very important that we get this step right. Because on YouTube, it isn't going to be the algorithm that is necessarily deciding which YouTube video is good. It is the viewers. And the title is the moment where that very first decision happens. For an example, you could be making the most valuable video within your niche, but if your title doesn't activate these correct psychological triggers to get people to click on your videos, then viewers might simply just scroll on past your content, even if it's the best video you've ever made and it is just amazing. Meanwhile, there could be average content that has a really good title and they are getting the clicks because it is that title that is bringing people in. Now, of course, you have to keep people's attention throughout your video, but your title is what is going to spark that sense of curiosity within people in order to click on your video in the first place. Now, after analyzing a lot of different popular YouTube channels, I have found 3 consistent psychological factors that go into titles. And once you understand these 3 different triggers, then your titles will become significantly more powerful. So let's just break them down. Okay, first up, we have specificity. And this is essentially going to be your credibility. Now, this is going to be something that works because the human brain pays more attention to concrete details. The human brain, when you are scrolling on YouTube, you're not looking for vague statements. For example, it is just a fact that when our brain sees numbers, time frames, or measurable outcomes, we immediately assign credibility to whatever we are looking at. For example, a YouTube title. And that is exactly why a title such as How to Get More Views is going to feel very vague. But a title such as How Creators Increase Their Views by 47% in the last 30 days, that is going to strike attention because it instantly feels more trustworthy. There are statistics being pulled out. The brain is going to take that specific detail and view it as evidence. And then they're going to think to themselves, oh, well, this creator must know what they're talking about. Let me check it out. But let's be honest, specificity is only going to work when it feels realistic to the viewer. If somebody is new to YouTube and they see a title such as How to Make $1 million in the next year with YouTube, they might be thinking, okay, well, that feels out of reach. And it feels so distant that they don't even consider clicking. So what I'm saying here is just do not exaggerate. However, how to make your first 1,000 with YouTube, that is going to feel more achievable to a viewer, especially when just getting started and less overwhelming as well. So you want your outcome here to feel concrete, like there is a real answer that you are striving towards, but also make it feel within reach because we don't want to be unrealistic. Next up, we have ethical urgency, which we'll just do a little maybe. Urgent. Now, when I talk about urgency, I don't want to get it twisted. I don't want you to be thinking about limited time offer and they say the sale ends in 30 minutes, but then when 30 minutes comes and goes, that offer just resets. And that is the type of urgency that people roll their eyes at, so we don't want that. Now, there's actually a psychological principle behind this called temporal landmarks. And basically, it's about how people are more motivated to take action when it feels tied to a specific moment in time, like a shift or an update or a change in opportunity. So when you see something that says before the algorithm shifts, ... do this. Or while this method still works, check it out. Or something like the strategy that most creators are going to be copying in 6 months. That is going to tap into that natural sense of timing where you're like, wait, what is happening? Times are changing. I need to get with it. For example, I've noticed a lot recently with my brother's YouTube channel, he's been doing this. For example, at the end of last year, he put how to build a YouTube automation business before the year ends. And I'm so sorry that my iPad screen is so dirty. Or warning, these YouTube niches are now banned. That's a perfect example of this, where it's like, wait, the year is ending, I need to get on top of creating my YouTube channel. Let me check this video out. And it makes the viewer think to themselves, okay, this information is relevant right now, then right now is when I should check it out. I shouldn't save it for later. But the best part about this, it does not feel manipulative because it's not. We're not saying, oh my gosh, this deal is ending in 6 hours. You need to check this out right now. That's not what we're doing. We are just making content that feels relevant to the time we are in and making sure of that by including it within our titles. And next up, we have the knowledge gap, which is going to be the biggest click magnet of all. And I'm sorry if this doesn't look like a brain. Don't look at it. Don't look. And this one comes straight from the information gap theory. And this is just a theory that people click when they feel like they are missing out on a piece of information that they need to know. But it has to be the right kind of gap. There is a way to do this and there is a way to not do this. It can't be too obvious. If it's too obvious, nobody cares. But then if we go to the other side of the spectrum, if it's too extreme, then people think you're exaggerating and it's not trustworthy. The sweet spot is right where the viewer thinks to themselves, when they see your title, they go, Okay, what am I missing? My favorite way to get inspired by finding good titles and coming up with good titles in general is just hopping onto YouTube itself. For example, I just looked up grow on YouTube. And here we go. A perfect example of having this knowledge gap is this creator right here posting how to become rich with social media. And then that has me thinking, okay, well, maybe I could get rich with social media and I would like to learn how, so I'm going to click on this video. Or we've got the exact system to blow up your YouTube channel in 90 days. That is perfect. It gives you a structured time frame, it gives us that gap in knowledge, and it makes me feel like I'm missing out and I need to know about this strategy. For example, I found this title right here, The New Way to Grow on YouTube in 2026. Now, although this title might seem pretty simple, it is fairly effective because first of all, we've included a year. What that's going to do is it's going to make it relevant to the time that we are in. And next, there is that knowledge gap with the word new. And the creator that posted this video made sure to capitalize the new, which I like because it puts emphasis on this. And then lastly, there's that knowledge gap here because we're thinking to ourselves when we read this title, okay, well, what is the new way to grow on YouTube? I need to know. And it hits all of our points. And this is a much better title than just putting how to grow on YouTube. All we added here is the new way and 2026. But it is a huge, huge change that could make all of the difference. And it's also going to signal to YouTube's algorithm to let them know different keywords and to let them know who your video is just ultimately going to go out to. But also with the knowledge gap technique, a lot of creators will imply within their titles that there is a secret that viewers must learn. So you could say something like the secret way to grow on YouTube. And then immediately you feel like you're a part of some little club when you click on this video. And although these are just really small changes you can make, the only way that a viewer can close that gap then in their mind is by clicking your video. So it is very, very, again, effective. Now, when you combine all three of these aspects, that is where it gets crazy. We've got specificity, good timing, and curiosity. And all of those together, you could be creating titles that consistently get the highest click-through rate that you've ever seen with your channel. For an example, if we combine all three of these aspects, we could create a title such as How Creators Doubled Their Views in 14 Days Using a Trick That No One Talks About. It's concrete, it's timely, and it also makes you wonder, what is the trick? So you think to yourself, let me check this out. So titles drive click-through rates, which determine how many impressions that you get. And a higher click-through rate is going to mean a bigger distribution from YouTube to you. And then more distribution means more watch time, and more watch time equals more growth with your channel. So everything starts with your title, which is why it is so important. But there is also one more essential piece. Your title, your thumbnail, and your first 30 seconds of your video, these all help one another out. The title is going to create the question, your thumbnail is going to visualize that answer, and the hook is going to start delivering immediately. So when you have all three of these matching, then your click-through rate and your retention rate, they're gonna go up. So at this point, you have two choices. You can do all of this with trial and error, or you can learn from somebody that has been growing YouTube channels for over 10 years now and helps other people grow their YouTube channels, which is my brother Matt. I know I mentioned him a little earlier on in this video, but he does have a course that helps other people grow with their channels. So if you're interested, make sure to check out the link in my description to schedule a call, or you can check out a free training on this right here. And always remember, you guys have a friend in the YouTube game, and work on your titles.